Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Cult Classic Podcast. Cameron Jones here, along with my co-host,
Jordan Jones.
And as promised, we're giving you the second part of our double feature. Hopefully you already watched and listened to Volcano and prepped yourself for Dantes Peak, because today we're doing Dantes Peak.
Well, ask and you shall receive. Or listen and you shall receive. Nobody asked for this. No. Not one person requested this. Just Cameron and myself. Cameron did request it. He asked and he got it.
Dantes Peak. Scientist Harry Dalton is sent to the small town of Dantes Peak to check on unusual seismic activity. Spurred by the volcano-related death of his previous lover, Dalton urges Mayor Rachel Wando and the community to be on alert for potential disaster. When the proof finally arrives, Harry and Rachel must go to the volcano to rescue her two children and ex-mother-in-law. Will Harry, Rachel, and her family be able to outrun nature's big show? Dantes Peak.
Directed by Roger Donaldson. Starring Pierce Brosnan, Linda Hamilton, Jamie Renee Smith, Jeremy Foley, Charles Hallahan, and Elizabeth Hoffman. Dantes Peak.
Cast and crew. Let's kick it off with director Roger Donaldson. Let's see his top hits here. The name off to the top doesn't ring a bell for me, but the only name that's kind of familiar is The World's Fastest Indian, which is a movie about racing Indian race like motorcycles with Anthony Hopkins.
For what it's worth, I would buy an Indian motorcycle if I was ever to ride motorcycles.
They are super cool.
Or actually probably a Triumph. I'd buy a Triumph, but that's neither here nor there.
He also directed No Way Out in 1987. Not familiar with that. Species in 1995. No, the name I haven't seen.
I've seen it back in the day. And it's like an Alien knockoff, kind of.
And The Bounty in 1984. A ton of credits here, but I really don't know a lot of his stuff, unfortunately. So Dante's Peak's
a guy that probably worked his way up to director and was part of a lot of crews and features.
It actually kind of surprises me that Dante's Peak wasn't listed as one of his bigger movies. I don't know.
To me, it's got to be up there with Species. Right?
Of course, this is starring Pierce Brosnan. I mean, of course, we have to say 007, all of the James Bond movies, but I'm going to throw out Mamma Mia. You might know him from.
Oh, I'm going to make a shout out, obviously, to another movie around this time, maybe predating this, but Mrs. Doubtfire. He's just a typecast when he's not Bond, just a divorcee. Or a guy dating divorcees.
And that's Pierce Brosnan playing Harry. We won't go too much on his character work. We all know who he is, obviously, but that might be a little bit into our Mount Rushmore coming up in a little bit. Playing Rachel, we have Linda Hamilton. I mean, of course, you would know her from the Terminator series. Go back and see our T2. I'm trying to think of what else I know her from.
Honestly, it seems like she'd be in so much more that I've seen, but it's this and Terminator. And that's just me being honest.
You might remember her from Terminator 2, Terminator 1, or Terminator Dark Fate.
She could have been in 8 or 6 as well, Terminator.
Looks like she was in Resident Alien. Oh, I did watch that show for a while. Yeah, she's on that. I actually have seen her a lot on TV, I think, over the years playing.
Looks like she was on The Beauty and the Beast, the TV show, which I do remember.
Enough, I do know that. My mom reminded me to say that because she was a fan of the show.
I definitely know that we had, I don't remember the show, but I know that we had on recorded VHSs of movies, the tail end of the show.
Yeah, I visually remember, but that's about as far as it goes.
I don't remember Linda Hamilton, though. I remember The Beast.
The Beast, yeah, that stuck out for me as a kid. I'm going to skip over the kids because unless it's like a Fanning or a miracle acting child, it doesn't matter. So we can
actually skip after recasting them too. I think Cameron just said all of the ones we were going to use, right?
Pretty much, yep.
Okay.
I'm skipping straight down to Ruth. She's the grandmother. She's played by Elizabeth Hoffman. You may know her from The River Wild, Born on the 4th of July, or Stargate SG-1. I myself don't recognize her at all, I don't think.
No, don't recognize her from this, but she plays an important part in this movie for me. The actor, forgotten but not gone. Gone and forgotten.
I'm going to keep it kind of short this week. There are a lot of scientists, but like no one really sticks out that much as a character apart from Charles Hallahan, who plays Paul, who's his boss. He looks familiar for sure. You may know him from The Pest, that John Leguizamo movie. Interesting. The Thing, that's what I know him from. He's in The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay.
And also in the 1996 The Fan. Not familiar with that.
No. Oh. Yeah, so let's move it on.
Yeah, that's the main tight crew that we actually have a lot of time with. But go to IMDb, look up the rest of the character actors in there, give them their due. But we're not gonna.
Nope, not us, not today.
Nope. Instead, we're gonna move it on to Unverified.
Unverified. Welcome to the Cult Classic Movie Phone. It's February 1997, and currently in theaters you could have seen Donnie Brasco with Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. A movie I know by name but have never seen. I've seen it. It's good.
A Jones Family classic, Fools Rush In with Matthew Perry and Selma Hayek.
We should just do that one. I could do that movie right now.
As could I. Great rom-com. Good movie.
Yeah.
The Beautician and the Beast with Fran Drescher, which I imagine is a lot like that Beauty and the Beast with Linda Hamilton. But more like, but a lot more of that.
I don't think that's what it's like at all. Anyway.
Miss Evers Boys with Alfre Woodward and Lawrence Fishburne.
You didn't see that one.
Big movie of the time. Vegas Vacation with Chevy Chase and Beverly D'Angelo. And the rest.
I'm pretty sure I did see that one in the
We
theater.
saw that in theaters with our dad. The guys in our family went to see Vegas Vacation, and our sisters and mom saw something better. I can't remember what.
Maybe they saw Fools Rush In.
Nah, maybe so. Leprechaun 4 in Space.
I do like how that's a category. It's like, they just put in fucking space.
Jordan, the 90s were big. Okay, space was big.
That's true.
It's already
not as big as one of the categories I'll get in on this movie.
We've already mentioned this, but The Pest with John Leguizamo. Haven't seen it, but I know a lot of people shit on it.
I've never seen it.
That Darn Cat with Christina Ricci and Dougie Doug. That was like a big Nick movie of our time that I didn't see, but I definitely remember the previews for it.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it either, but yeah, like they were pushing down our throats.
But luckily you chose Dante's Peak.
And you weren't alone. It had a budget of $116 million.
Okay.
Which is pretty steep. It didn't make a killing. It definitely made its money back, made $178 million.
I mean...
And I know you're like, that's not a... But in 1997 standards...
No, I was just going to say, they also had competition that year, so that also could have cut into some of it. I mean, as we already know, because we did Volcano before this, 20th Century Fox was in production for Volcano that same year. So due to the speed up of production schedule, this movie reached theaters almost 3 months earlier than Volcano, and it did have the better box office success. But I'll tell you what I've seen more on TNT. I talked a lot of shit last week about what the better movie is, and we will get into it in a second, but my opinion swayed a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's just... I never saw the other... Well, that's down the line. Just so you're playing along at home, where this lies in Pierce Brosnan, GoldenEye came out in 95.
Okay.
Tomorrow Never Dies came out in 97, but Mrs. Doubtfire did predate it in 93.
A lot of movies for him came out in 97.
Yeah, good year. He was on it. This is probably the heyday.
Similar with Volcano, all the ash you see is just really fine newspaper shavings. I don't know if they got it from the same company, but that's what you use.
I will get into atmospheric elements of movies, and I'm into it. I want more rain. I want more snow. I want more ash. Oh, he's also in Mars Attacks in 1996.
Sure
Good
was.
Few years. Not too bad. Go back and listen to our Mars Attacks if it's still on our platform.
I'm not gonna lie. There weren't a lot of great actual like movie facts on this one. Like some of the only ones I really found were like all the crater scenes were Mount St. Helens, and most of the exterior shots of Dante's Peak was Wallace, Idaho. But like. I read essentially the mountain was all obviously back. There was a lot of fake backdrop, but the town they self-used was that.
Oddly enough, all the science checked out. There's no need to know facts about that. Everything was real.
The only other thing I wrote down, just because it is an interesting story, is Ruth, the grandmother, her refusing to leave her house was inspired by actual events. And I'm sure we've heard this before, but if you don't know,
Harry Truman?
In 1980, when Mount St. Helens was about to blow, Harry R. Truman, that is correct, Jordan, who was living in a failed tourist lodge that he'd owned for 50 years, adamantly refused to leave. He was interviewed on camera and pointedly warned, but he insisted that the danger was being wildly exaggerated. Meanwhile, okay, I'm going to stop there, but he was wrong. He died. It was bad.
So there was a local person at Mount St. Helens called Harry Truman, non-relation, non-president Harry Truman, who's like, you get fucked. I'm not going to leave my home. This is my town. But he went out like he liked to live his life, covered in molten lava.
His last words were, Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it. And then seconds later, he was killed by the blast.
My guess is his last words were, oh, God, no! Oh, my God, they were right! You know, whatever.
For more information, see Stan and Volcano.
Gone but not forgotten. Okay.
That's honestly all I had for facts on this movie. I was digging, but there's just not a lot of interesting stuff for it.
Yep, that works for me. I'll be honest. I like a movie with no facts. Keep it moving.
If you guys have any interesting stuff out there, please write in and let us know.
And this is just 6 years before you would have 12 hours of bonus footage about the movie. Just missed it.
DVD commentary, all of it, really.
There would have been so many outtakes. They would have been jumping in the lobby. But like, this is crazy, but we don't have them, so we're going to move on.
We're going to move it on to questions.
Comments.
Animosities.
Questions, comments, animosity.
So off the bat, just comment, intense opener. Like, honestly, it's kind of like your favorite scene in Volcano with like the explosion and the meteors going and stuff. It's an intense beginning.
Because it's been so long since I've seen it, didn't even remember that the beginning happened. It's obviously your first time. Mm-hmm. And as I'm watching it, I'm like, I don't know if Marion's going to make it. And she didn't. She sure didn't.
I do want to, quick question about her. Like, they never say that they were.
Marion is Pierce Brosnan's lover or fiance or something.
They never say that, though. She's just kind of the coworker. He said, they never say that exactly. It's implied, and there's definitely.
You mean like during the chaos and
no, just afterwards.
Catastrophe?
Like even then, I was kind of confused whether he was just really distraught about a coworker or if he was having sex with that coworker. And it's
he eventually told Linda Hamilton's character that, right?
Maybe like I definitely buy the way he was acting. I got that vibe, but I couldn't remember if he said that or not. So I was just kind of a little confused.
He said my wife or spouse or fiance or lover got killed.
He said my partner.
What's your story? Oh,
so I think that still makes it a little like, well, your business partner?
Oh, yeah, but I think that was just a joke for Rachel, Linda Hamilton's character, be like, so you're available. Which gets me to my, like, one thing I just got to get off my chest. Mm-hmm. Is anybody married in the 90s? Are we all divorced? Are we all widowers? Like, does anybody have
divorce
parents?
Was on the incline. It was topical. We had to put it in movies, you know?
Gosh, I can't think of a movie we've done in the 90s that's set in the 90s that doesn't deal with divorce. I know Kramer started in the 80s, but every character in the 90s has been divorced. And I'll tell you what, here's the deal. If you deal with volcanoes and the science behind it, or the administration that deals with it, you're going to be a single parent or divorced or a widower. I don't know what the deal is.
True. On that note, too, nice to have an expert that actually knows about science and like geology and volcanoes. Going back to the last podcast with Volcano, he knows what he's doing. It's a nice change of pace.
In comparison to the Volcano, and I won't try to do that. I'm going to try to do this as a standalone movie. I like that we get so much build up to the actual volcano. We get the crew. We get to know the townspeople a little bit. It's probably like an hour before anything starts happening.
It's definitely a better movie, better storytelling. So I do have to go back and maybe a little revisionist history.
You like the immediacy. You like the immediate.
Yeah, Volcano just is like action packed from the beginning, keeps going. Kind of. It's the, as I've said, it's the Armageddon. This is the Deep Impact. This one's a little more realistic, but at the same time, I mean, this one's still action-packed. It still has a lot going on until we'll get to the ending in a little bit. But, I mean...
It is not as action-packed. If you're apples to oranges, if you just want action-packed, Volcano's a movie for you.
True.
But for whatever reason, I like the little mountain town. I like the lead up to it.
Beautiful.
I like the crew getting there.
Ideal. Yeah. God, I want to live there. Oh, also, another similarity between the movies. What's up with these assholes coming in on their vacation? Especially if, like, there's a whole van of people it seems like Pierce Brosnan could have sent here instead of him. Why was he even getting called in on his vacation? Whatever, like his boss is like, Paul, I'm sorry to bring you in, but you're the only one who can go out and test this thing that we keep saying is not an emergency.
Not only that, after he's slowly tested, everybody's like, okay, we'll come.
Yeah, like immediately,
We'll load up the
like, oh yeah,
vans.
we could drop whatever
Everybody's
we were doing. It was no big deal.
We weren't too busy. We were just looking at what do they call it? Seismographs?
Mm-hmm.
Not much activity here going on.
Yeah, so I was a little confused why he had to go in the first place.
I think it was he needs the distraction, although it doesn't seem like the best distraction would be,
A volcano. Yeah.
But more so like you got to get back into work. You got to stop thinking about your partner, Marion, or whatever her name was.
Another kind of 90s trope that kind of bugs me. I get that Harry shook from like the year ago like disaster that happened, but he is a little anal. Like, I can just sense there's going to be a disaster. That was pretty big in the 90s of like, hey, I don't care what you guys say. I can feel this is coming. Like, he was a little rational about that. I mean, he was lucky he was right. But.
Yeah, hindsight is they should have listened to Harry, but his crew's like, there's nothing that indicates that this is about to happen.
Yeah, he was totally...
I mean, except for like, skinny dipping couples melting, but that's just like Mountain 101. That shit happens, right? And all the sulfur.
I've never gone into a hot spring.
I don't think I have either for this reason. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, it seems like the crew's like, listen, Harry, we get you're real messed up and maybe we shouldn't have sent you up here. Maybe you weren't our number one guy, but the science just isn't backing it up.
So did he just deal with volcanoes? Did he deal with other natural disaster things, or like he's the volcano guy?
Seemed like the volcano crew.
Yeah,
right?
I guess. Yeah, they seem like the volcano crew.
Yeah, and if there's anything else, I didn't capture that. There wasn't the amount of text at the beginning telling me what their jobs were,
I mean, I guess in Tommy Lee Jones's defense to Volcano, he was just like all disasters. He didn't specify in Volcano or Hot Steam.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they acted like it. They acted like they didn't. So his boss, Paul's character, like, I don't think is that out of line or a dick.
No.
Like, he gets his, and I don't think he deserves it.
No, like, he was just trying to be cautious so he didn't ruin the economy of a town that was about to be, like, what, the second best in the state or something? Or in the country?
It was voted, like, under 20,000 second best town. The funny thing is that while they were talking to the officials, like, what's number one? Like, I don't know, some dipshit place in Wyoming. Like, I don't know, we're number two.
The same, should we just should every town just have like, hey, we're the best town that has like three...
just put all the qualifiers you want on it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think everyone should start doing that.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine.
Also, we've talked about this in movies before, but just comment, I want to go to a bar and just be like, whiskey, beer, and not have a condescending what kind asshole from the bartender. You never get to do that.
Well, you can do that if you look like Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, well, it's his boss that does it. Or I guess if you go to a bar that like you're a regular and or they have one thing on tap.
I will say, in defense of that, I feel like in the 90s there's a lot less beer options.
That's true.
So it might have just been Budweiser.
You want Buttermiller. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess you're right also domestically, like they didn't cross as much like territories.
And this was a mountain town. They probably had nothing but Coors.
Yeah, it's probably just Coors. Oh, good for them. The banquet
Not
beer.
too bad at all. Way to go. Way to go. Do you think it takes too long to get into the action?
A little bit. That would be my only animosity with it, that it is such a long build. But it's a better told story. Everything about it is better except for maybe the action.
I think the reason the action seems better in Volcano or more action packed. But why I think this is better is because there's more character development and there's like no character development in Volcano.
I mean, in this one, there's actually, I can feel that there's supposed to be sexual tension and a romantic interest. And the whole time during Volcano, I was like, do they want to kiss? I don't know.
Do you think they have chemistry though?
Oddly, kind of, yeah.
Okay.
Or is it just that Pierce Brosnan's so charming that anyone can have chemistry with him?
Maybe, because I don't feel it. But I did. It's like they had chemistry, but it wasn't. I didn't feel it. Like,
I kind of get what you mean. Like, it's more like I don't see how they're ending up together, but I can see that they are trying to.
Yeah. If this town's still here in the morning, we'll make a go at it. Oh, it's not great. There is one part, and I'll forget to say this if I don't bring it up now. Mm-hmm. Well, they're in the throes. I think they kiss one another. Harry and Rachel, and then. While he's making his move, he's like, I just want to let you know, I never liked your coffee. I'm like, weird low dig, Harry.
Your coffee shit.
It's like, that's all I do. I am the mayor, but that's like my main vocation.
Like, oh, damn, that hurt. That hurt a lot more than I think you thought.
Jeez, what'd you want? Tea, you limey son of a bitch. It's coffee. And she made like cappuccinos in the 90s.
Yeah, she was getting like nice
1997.
coffee for everybody too. And well, his was just black, if I recall.
That's your fault you ordered black coffee from a mountain town, but the rest of the people really seemed to enjoy the coffee. Seemed like a weird dig from Harry's character.
Comment animosity. Ruth, the grandmother, her son abandoned your family, and it seems like she has some beef with you. You got to let her die on that mountain. Granted, it wasn't her choice. It's like the kids, which another animosity. Kids in the 90s are always racing. Well, in all movies, racing into danger. Leave the kids too. There's not a chance in how they could get up there in time.
No, this one was incredibly weird because you had to have so much talent to be able to drive to their grandma's.
Oh, you could never.
They did mountain driving with pounds and pounds of ash falling.
There's not a chance that they wouldn't just go like 10 feet, then whoop, off the side of a cliff and then just died. Like you could not see a thing there. They would not have made it.
No, it was amazing that they did. It was unbelievable. It wasn't believable, but that they did. But the mom's character, Linda Hamilton, the only reason she went up there is because her kids went up there. She would have let the grandma die.
Oh,
She didn't give a
100%.
shit, right?
She was right about that. But damn those kids.
I will say, though, in the house, though, it escalated quickly.
Oh, immediately. The one thing I will say that it's a little like Volcano is they somehow didn't sense the presence of lava 10 feet away from them on the other side of a cabin wall. Like,
I'm fine with that, all right? Maybe you didn't see it coming. Maybe it breaks through in a weird way. But once it's there, it's hot, guys.
and you assume at that like elevation, it's moving fast. There's not a chance they would have outrun that or outboated it, or like even when they're in the lake, like you assume that would be hot enough. Like another fun trope, 90s, we loved acid. The acid eating through the boat. I think I'd just be worried about like, oh my God, my feet are on fire. This whole boat is so damn hot.
There's so many great things that happen in the lake. If Stan is the most memorable thing from Volcano, and he is.
Yeah.
I actually think Grandma Ruth jumping in unnecessarily is one of the things I remember the most about this movie.
I don't know if it's
I couldn't wait for it to happen.
unnecessarily. The boat did sink right after.
Okay, though, you were watching it, though, right?
Yeah.
For the first time. I was so happy for you as the first time to be like, oh, he's going to see dumb Ruth jump in. With momentum heading to the dock, just 5 feet away.
Yeah, you could have, like, Pierce Brosnan was paddling. They probably were like a few seconds away from paddling over there and just making it.
Well, that's a question. How come his hand didn't burn off?
He was
had
using,
a jacket?
yeah, he was, apparently just wasn't getting it wet. He was just, take off your shoe, take off anything else that you can like get some extension on. Don't like stick your hand in and cover it. Like
Stuck his whole arm in there. And that
from,
really pissed
as
me
we
off.
saw with Ruth, she was fully clothed. Didn't matter. Burns right through that. Gets right through that. It's acid.
Yeah, but she probably had old lady jeans that weren't.
That's true.
Probably
They're
the
probably
wax
thicker
cams.
denim mountain jeans.
That's true. That's true.
If you want to know the biggest animosity of that whole thing, really, it's you got to let Ruth stay there and die. She really slowed you guys down.
Oh, I did think about this. Like, Ruth wasn't being a hero. She didn't want to get off the mountain. She's like, I'll go out on my own terms. It's only 5 feet away.
Yeah.
She assumed that they'd let her die there or she'd die in the
She
water.
didn't think she was going to die. Her whole thing is she was being Harry Truman. She's like, it's not that bad.
No, but when she jumped in the water.
Oh, yeah, she's killing herself.
At that point, she's like, I'm good. It's kind of like when a baseball...
Oopsie poopsie, that's my bad. My fault. My germs.
Yeah. She's like, you guys get on without me. Like, it's not my fault your kids came up here. That I guess I could have left or whatever.
But if you're going to sacrifice yourself, dip all the way under and die. Don't just like, don't make us drag you for like 8 miles down a mountain, because they probably could have made it out easily if not transporting her.
Yeah, if I was Pierce Brosnan's character, I'd be like, does anybody want to switch on Grandma Ruth or anybody else?
Like, I'm really not that partial to her in the first place.
If you think I hate your coffee, guess what I hate even more? Carrying your your ex-mother-in-law down this mountain.
Hey, question, do I get assistance if a volcano destroys my town? What happens in that situation?
It just depends what your insurance... The town gets assistance. Like, the roads probably get funding and stuff, but you're probably stuck with whatever your insurance situation is.
So I do not have volcano insurance. I was not prepared for that. That sucks.
No, but you could be like, the wind broke it before, like...
Ooh, yeah, I'm just going to try to start fire to it quick and take some pictures. Be like, lava there, house fire here.
Yeah, you get it. You'll do your best, but nope. The town may come back, but your house never will.
And, okay, going to the town's destruction, one cool scene is everything's kind of blowing up and stuff when everyone's leaving the gym.
Yeah, I thought so.
But Linda Hamilton does't seem that concerned that she doesn't know where her kids are and that the entire town is like crumbling around them. She's just like, oh geez, oh no.
there's predecessing to this earlier in the movie. Oh, what, my kid's in the mine? I'll get him when I get him. I'm a mayor of the city, and I also run a coffee shop.
Yeah, but this is a pretty intense moment when she doesn't know where her kids are at all, and like,
well, on top of that, equally crazy when she finds out, she's like, "Oh, they went up to my mom's house, 45 minutes up the mountain.
They're dead.
Better go and get them."
Well, yeah, it's like, well,
better go and get them.
Kids are dead. There's just, I'll reiterate, not a chance they could have gotten up there in time. And back down.
No, that's the most unbelievable thing. 1, that they got there. 2, that they got back down. But 3, man, I don't know what... I didn't get the make and model of these vehicles, but 1994 to 1997 SUVs were killing it on the mountain, Cameron.
Yeah, you can drive over lava, get stuck in it, and your tires will still be out there on the other side. He drove further down the mountain after that.
That really pissed me off. 1, that they like, you thought that you could drive through lava. Like, I get it. It was intense times. You may not be thinking clearly. So maybe you try, you're like, hopefully we can get through the lava and our tires won't pop. They do immediately because it's lava.
They don't pop. They just catch fire and they continue to drive. That's true. I would have assumed they'd like roll out on rims, but they showed rubber.
Yeah, that pissed me off so much. Like, I can't believe they can... I mean, because they drove down the mountain a long time.
Yeah, after that.
On whatever that was left of the tires.
If they would have at least, like, gotten speed and, like, just rolled through it and then, like, oh, our tires are destroyed, but we have momentum, like, explained it like that, I would have been like, maybe, but I think you guys are still real burnt inside the cab of that truck because you're just sitting on lava for, like, 30 seconds.
These lava movies just never talk about how hot it is around there.
All the news reporters do in Volcano, you won't believe how hot the steam is 2 feet away from me.
Yeah, it's barely, yeah. I mean, they do mention it, but it's like there's no reflection that it is that hot.
Oh, I have, this may be my biggest animosity actually of the movie. When the helicopter crashes, his boss, Paul, calls in a fire truck for assistance for those people. The town is being destroyed all around you. Who's coming to save those people? Like, people are dying all around you. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, also, Paul, nobody cares what you think anymore. You had your chance to evacuate.
Yeah, and that was the helicopter pilot that, 1, disobeyed your order, took off without you, and was, like, gouging prices. So, screw him, too.
Screw him.
But imagine the firemen hearing that. Like, quick, we have a fire downtown on Main Street. Like, what?
Sound the sirens. Let's get out there. It's like, oh, there's fires everywhere, guys. It's the end of days. From the sounds of it, though, quite a bit of people made it out of the town.
Well, Paul said we evacuated everyone, even though I'm pretty sure people died during that destruction scene. Like, things got bad. Not everyone was in that, like, building.
Maybe he just meant his crew.
We got us out.
We all got out of here. We waited till the end. I was confused by Paul's death, if we can go there. Yeah. I like the effects. It seemed like we were dealing with miniatures when the bridge was...
Oh, yeah.
I loved it, though. I loved the way it looked. I got nothing but positives about that. Paul was trailing 2, like, Hummers or whatever, like, military Humvees. Mm-hmm. So I assumed that he was probably carrying at least half of his crew. But when he got out of his truck or the van and he was the only one in there, I'm like, Paul, why didn't you just squeeze into one of those Humvees?
Well, Jordan, they have a lot of expensive equipment in that van. I guess my question would be, why did he try for 20 seconds, like burning out when he's clearly not going to make it? Hop out and try to jump.
Cameron, he wasn't going to make the jump.
No, that would have been like a Stan moment, though. Where he's like, and just, no, Paul.
Like, Paul, like, they didn't even ask Paul to jump.
At least it would have been, like, I don't know, less sad than him just clinging to this van and getting swept away looking sad.
I do like how I don't know if it was the Wilhelm scream, but they gave him some screams along the way out.
Yeah,
on the way out,
it's a bad way to go. You're getting crushed by logs and stuff in water.
Yeah, better than lava, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
A lot of the times, again, in these disaster movies, if you're a dick, you get your comeuppance.
Yeah, but
I brought that up, but I don't think he was.
I agree. I don't think he was that much of a dick. I mean, he was being cautious, whereas Pierce Brosnan was being a little rash. Like, they met in the middle, and then they figured out a little too late, oh, it is a problem, you know?
Yeah, but I guess what are you going to do? I don't think there's anybody to blame here. And if you were going to... Paul's dead, so you can fill out the paperwork, but Paul's dead.
It was all Paul's fault. Check, check, check.
Like, I think Paul would have been okay with that, right? Let's just blame the dead guy.
Yeah, I mean, even at the end, he's like, this is my bad. So, yeah, I think he would have been like, oopsie, yep, blame it on me.
Do you know what I do love about movies from the 90s and dealing with technology and any equipment?
What's that?
If it doesn't work, you just kick the shit out of it until it does.
Do you know what I like even more? That everyone can hotwire a fucking car in the movies. I'm just going to rip those wires and my car will never run again. Even if I try to
Yeah.
put the same colors back together, what's done is done.
No, probably you shock yourself too.
Oh, real bad.
God damn.
God, no.
Jeez, I didn't start anything. So do you gotta like keep restarting it, or
I think
lava
they always
affected?
twist them together. I think when you get it and you twist, it's
just forever
fine.
running?
It's just good to go.
Every car, and these gas guzzlers probably got what, 2 gallons to the 2 miles to the gallon. Like they never run out of gas in these movies.
You're going downhill, I guess, for the second half of that journey. So maybe he's just neutral and coasting on his rims.
Yeah, but the first hour of the journey was uphill mountain driving,
Yeah, through like
Cameron,
snow,
which
thick ash.
Again, I did bring this up. Love atmosphere. Give me more rain. Give me more snow movies. Give me more ash movies. Give me more wind.
He loves
something.
precipitation. He loves weather.
I really do. Don't you think it adds so much to the movie?
Yeah, I mean, you need it. It's a volcano. You need the ash.
Well, I know practically you need it, but
I mean, I like it. I'm just not as passionate.
I don't think this from a practical standpoint for budget and then resources that are dwindling, but just in a vacuum, I like made up movies to have atmosphere.
Can we go back to the lake scene for just 1 second?
Yeah, that's all I want to talk
When
about.
the fish were floating up, why did it even have to be acid? Why couldn't it have just been like, oh my God, the water's boiling hot. If we get in this, it'll boil us.
Why are they so fucking? Who cares, guys? Like yes, the fish are boiling or acid or dead. There's a volcano.
Yeah, they're about to
erupting
die
behind us.
anyway. The volcano is cut. The lava's coming.
I don't know. Was that the fastest way? Maybe. I don't know.
It's the only way. The last thing I have for notes is the ending. Do you have anything else before we get there?
Did I get how Harry really dogged her for a shitty coffee?
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Oh, before we get to the end, and I think I'll agree with where you're going with this, I just got a comment on Pierce Brosnan's character's necklace. Love it.
What's his necklace? I'm not remembering.
Just that he has one.
Okay.
It's just a scientist guy has a necklace. It doesn't fit.
Jordan, he's
Pierce
like the
Brosnan,
world's
the person, but the
sexiest
character.
scientist, though. That's just a man who wears jewelry, Jordan. That has nothing to do with his profession.
No, but it could be like indigenous. It's not like
Oh wait, now I'm
metal-based.
now I'm ringing.
It's
the bell.
got some swoop and some horn to it. It's very Moana-esque. Love it. Does it make sense? No. And on top of that, I think I'm gonna go denim base field jacket outside someday soon.
I mean, it is the season.
Well, I like the look. It's not bad.
I feel like that might go under the Carhartt thing for us. That I don't know if I'm manly enough to pull off a look like that. I don't know.
I'm not manly enough to do Carhartt, but I could definitely do 1997 field work guy.
True. I'm going more a whitewashed jitterbug jean jacket denim suit.
You could do that. I'm actually doing. It is still workmanlike, but I'm doing much more Mario Brothers. It's just like a painter's outfit.
Okay.
That's what I'm doing, or a plumber. Oh, just side note: the kids almost had nothing to the movie for me.
No,
They are there.
They're the
but I
reason we
can't
have to go
remember.
back up the mountain because
No. I understand that, but I'm just saying the kids and the acting and everything. I almost forget they're in the movie.
100%. That's why I didn't talk about them in cast and crew, and why in a second I'm not going to recast them because it could be any child and I don't care.
We'll just get ahead of it. We're gonna do Joseph Gordon-Levitt for the guy, kind of a looks like.
Sure.
And then for the daughter,
I'm going to go that chick from Alex Mack, The Strange World of Alex Mack, but younger.
the main one.
Sure.
Oh dang! I'm just in Mrs. Doubtfire. I'm gonna go with the oldest daughter for Mrs. Doubtfire.
Works for me. That's fine with me.
Okay, moving on.
The last
The
thing
end.
I think to talk about is the ending. It's just super anticlimactic. All that build up for the volcano, all that shit in the tunnel where you think oh, there's a daring rescue that's going to happen. And then instead, Pierce Brosnan just sits in a truck for 2 days and then they find him.
So my notes are completely aligned with that. I said, did they run out of money? Did they not forget they had to end it? Because the part in the mind that's a movie in itself.
Yeah, it was all
That's
building
a really
there.
gloss over harrowing moment. I don't know how they got out.
No,
how
or
they
how,
got found. I know the science was
How
there,
the lava didn't
NASA thing.
affect them in there. There was still a tunnel that it could have entered in. And as we found from Volcano, that shit loves tunnels, loves subway systems.
Yeah, that is a glaring weird aspect of this movie. It didn't. I don't know how you ended it. Whatever, we made it through, but you shouldn't have done it like that because you got trapped for 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, I assumed it was going to be
What
more
did you guys drink? You guys weren't talking to each other. How come none of you looked dehydrated coming out?
or really
Not
that
one-
bad at all, even though I'm pretty sure he had a broken something for sure. Arm, leg.
Yes, his elbow poked out.
God, that would have been
skin.
the
He had a
worst
compound fracture.
for 2 days with no water and just like, oh God, I can see the bone.
Yeah, this is literally a movie. This in itself, being trapped
It's
there,
called
is a
27
movie.
hours.
Yeah, but you didn't have a family of 3.
And a
A
dog.
guy and a dog. Yeah, the dog we get. He probably ate the dead people, but they all lived.
I'm angry about the whole helicopter fire truck thing, but the ending did kind of just like, I was a little taken aback. I was like, oh, okay.
They're like, and it's over. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say where Volcano and this movie differ the biggest for me, at least.
Yeah, I guess I truly didn't remember how the movie ended. I know that they got down the mountain. Yeah, that's probably why I didn't remember it. It just ends.
I reiterate, that's just the craziest thing to me, though. Like, they didn't even get all the way down the mountain. They're still in the town that was gonna get hit by the explosion and lava.
Well, not only that, they were escaping the lava flow, like the lava ocean. So let's say, whatever, the mind works. The shaft, you get in there, whatever.
I guess it caved in behind him, so it could have, I guess.
No, what I'm saying is, though, wouldn't it be like covered in a coat of lava that became magma and you have to like drill
Yeah,
out?
it seems like it would take a long time to get down to them. And even like his truck was like inches from like just completely killing him. So like you'd imagine any more pressure up there or any like jackhammering's just going to kill him.
Not even that, just oxygen.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't think that they'd have enough oxygen in there if like all their airways were blocked. Like,
It's just we were
from
so
lava.
realistic kind of up until this point and we were really building and just then done.
No,
Yeah, really
I
threw
think that's
me.
probably, I am wondering what the Rotten Tomatoes, no, they were both pretty similar Rotten Tomatoes, like 60s, 70s.
No, I think they were actually lower than that. I think people don't like these movies that much for some reason.
Oh, for whatever reason, I enjoyed it. The beginning could have been Homeward Bound, and then it became
The
Volcano.
beginning, it starts just murder.
Sorry. 20 minutes to an hour could have been any 90s movie.
True.
And then it was a disaster movie.
If I was skip, I think overall, I'm still going to say I like watching Volcano more, but Dante's Peak up until the last like 3 minutes is the better movie overall. If they just would have ended it a little better, it would have overall been the better movie for me.
Probably because I saw Dante's Peak more. It's just what I'm prone to enjoying.
I get it. And same with me with Volcano.
Yep. I don't know like whether or not I like Pierce Brosnan that much. I enjoy him.
I have nothing
like,
against him, but I don't think he's a great actor.
No, I don't think so either.
And for Mamma Mia, we know he's not a great singer.
Sure.
But he does seem kind of funny.
But he's cheeky and funny, and he's willing.
Yeah, he's willing to put himself out there, and I respect that.
That's enough. That's enough that I want.
So thanks, Pierce Brosnan. Whereas I think Tommy Lee Jones is kind of just angry sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I got no read on him, but
if I was to have a
seems
beer
grumpy.
with the two, I think I'd pick Pierce Brosnan. I think I'd have more fun, like, I don't know, on a boat with him.
yeah, but that's just of course. That makes sense, right? All in all, enjoyable watch, comparable. I think I'm Dante's Peak over a Volcano. It sounds like you're...
I'm gonna not shit on Dante's Peak as much as I used to, having not seen it, but I think I still prefer Volcano overall.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you were here for our double feature. If we forgot anything, let us know, and let's move on to recasting.
Recasting. Much like cast and crew, I'm going to keep this pretty short just to like the 4 main characters we see. So let's start off with Ruth, the grandma that jumps into the lake of acid. Jordan, who do you have? I have 2 options here. One's weird.
Okay, I have like a sweeter version.
Okay.
I didn't want to do Betty White, so I kept it out.
Okay.
But based off that, I did the lady that plays Faye from Wings.
Okay. but the grandma's kind of like weirdly bitchy.
Kind of a
and like,
dick. So
yeah.
for that reason, I went Glenn Close as well.
Okay.
It was hard for me to find a character actor, but the Glenn Close type.
Okay,
Glenn
here's
Close.
my terrible one. Carol Barnett. For some reason, I thought it could be a funnier, snippy kind of thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I got real with it, and I was like, this is just an Allison Janney role.
Oh, that's good. That works better. Yeah.
I mean, you were a little
like
better
that.
at like people maybe more of the time, but
No. I think Allison Janney works. Like Allison Janney now.
she could be funny, mean, and biting, and still likable.
She could definitely be mean. It's
All right.
weird. She's probably like, yeah, that one works. I like that.
Up next, we have Paul, the boss. He has enough lines that he got in here.
I actually kind of like mine. I did Timothy Busfield, who you may not know by name.
Yeah, give me a
But
movie.
he's the wife's brother in Field of Dreams, the redhead.
Oh, okay.
Like, Ray, you got to sell the farm. Like that guy.
I could see him on the crew for sure. I don't know. Now he's old enough. But I
Oh,
don't
you
know
don't think he's a boss guy?
I don't know if he is. Weirdly, my first thought was J.K. Simmons, but I don't love that.
Oh,
but what I
that
went
makes
with
sense.
is Brian Cox. You would know him from Autopsy of Jane Doe, or where you hiding those bodies from Trick or Treat.
Go back and listen to both of those episodes.
I believe he does have an. Does he have an accent? Is he American? I feel like I've heard him.
I think it's Scottish in real life, or something like that.
Because I've heard him speak a million different ways, but just doing an American accent, the boss, Brian Cox.
Yeah, Brian Cox is harder. He's a little more harsh.
I mean, then J.K. Simmons was my first one. This is definitely, a less likable guy. Probably.
I went a nicer route, I think, and you went a little harsher.
Up next, we have Rachel. I was all over the place with this one. Do you have anything good?
Good, I don't know, but I thought of it from the moment I saw it. The name is Margaret Collin.
Margaret Collin.
Or Margaret Collin. You will know her from Independence Day. She's Jeff Goldblum's ex-wife.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know why. It's probably like a movie that came out in 1997. I could see her wear the outfit. I could see her. It just seems like a good role for that person.
Yeah, I'm 100% fine with that. Okay, I'm going to go in reverse order from best to worst. Michelle Pfeiffer might be my good answer.
I get you.
Then I went Helen Hunt. I could just see her in this because
Helen Hunt feels more this.
The mayor. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
The mayor, the small town, whatever.
And then I think it's just because I was thinking, also it'll go to my other recasting for Harry, but Terminator 2, Emilia Clarke came in, I think, as like a young Sarah Connor.
Oh, okay.
So
I don't
kinda
like that one so much.
That. Yeah, I don't either. I'm going to stick with Helen Hunt on that one, but I don't like any of my Rachels.
Helen Hunt's not bad.
Because
for whatever reason, Gina Davis just popped in my head.
I did think Gina Davis too. Interesting. Because Linda Hamilton, no offense to her, isn't like a knockout beauty per se. So I didn't want to just put like a 90s bombshell in there, you know?
No, yeah. I guess I went a non-star route, and you I should have probably tried to find a star. So
I mean, again, Linda Hamilton is a star, but like of Terminator and this, as far as
but at the time in 1997,
true.
She was quite a bit bigger star than played out the rest of her career.
Finally, to end this out, we have Harry.
I like mine. You're not gonna like it, and I probably shouldn't have said one of the persons for Ruth, but I'm going Tim Daly from Wings.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that, actually. Get Tim Daly and more things. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Doesn't he dress the part? He seems like a scientist.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I'm 100% fine
Is he
with that.
as leading movie man as Pierce Brosnan or somebody that played Bond? No.
Speaking of which, I just thought, you know what? Daniel Craig could do this. If I was going to go Bond for Bond, let's put him in there. But then,
he's who I would have gone Bond for sure.
If we're just shooting for the stars, Harrison Ford. But then, random Ray Fiennes, mid-aged Ray Fiennes. He would have been a little too young here.
The weird thing is, Ray Fiennes is kind of hard for me because outside from he makes that one romantic comedy like Made in Manhattan or whatever.
Yep.
He's primarily either just a bad evil guy,
right,
or later on
guy.
now just a cheeky motherfucker.
Yeah.
And because of that reason, I don't feel like we've seen him as leading man.
Here, he would have had more of his hair. He has the accent. He could have been a little more suave. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have worked. I honestly like my Tim Daly the best.
I did better with the lower characters, I think, than my Brian Cox and Allison Janney. Yeah, I didn't know about the main characters on this one.
Yeah, I did think though going apples to apples, just putting another Bond, I would do yes.
Oh, and I also did say I'm also just fine with the complete volcano switcheroo. Stan as Paul, Rachel. Yeah, we can just do a straight up switch. Don Cheadle, congratulations, you're Paul now.
Yep, there you go.
With that, let's get to the what ifs. There weren't too many. Just two people who were up for playing Harry Dalton: Michael Douglas and Kurt Russell. I can see
Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
would be for sure.
Yeah, Michael Douglas, I could see being on The Boss, maybe.
Weird thing is, even in '97, it feels like past Kurt Russell. Or sorry,
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas is like prime. It seems like a weird role for him.
Kind of, yeah. But Kurt Russell could work for me. That's fine. Let's know what you thought of our recasting this week and where you saw some people in this movie. But we're going to move it on to Mount Rushmore. Top 4.
Mount Rushmore. Top 4.
Mount Rushmore Top 4. This week we're going to do our top 4 roles from people who have played Bond in other movies. Our favorite Bonds in different roles. We're going to break it down to our top 3 Bonds in our opinion. We're going to do Sean Connery, Daniel Craig, and of course, Pierce Brosnan because of this movie. Who do you want to start with? Which Bond?
Let's do Brosnan, namesake for the movie, because I would rank it probably, depending on how you go, it's either Connery or Craig, probably Connery, and then Brosnan's third in this group, right?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'll just put Mamma Mia at the bottom of it. It's not a great role for him. He's not a good singer, but boy, have I seen that movie a lot.
I've seen it like once, but it's fun that he's in it. Are we doing the tiered versions of what we like them in, or just throwing them out?
Just throw them out.
Okay, I gotta go Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, that might be my number one. Maybe just, I don't know, nostalgic.
It's weird, but it's what I'm finding. I'm like, oh yeah, he's in it, and I like it, and he plays an important part.
Possibly the same year before Mars Attacks. I kind of forgot he was in that until I was looking through, but he's the reporter that's in love with Sarah Jessica Parker. Or the scientist.
Actually have a pretty funny storyline too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
because they get dwindled down to heads.
Yeah, on the dogs. That movie's weird, but I still like it.
Go back. We definitely did it. I don't know if it's still up, but I will lastly say just shout out to the Cornetto trilogy. He is in World's End. I don't like that the best out of what
No, but I 100% agree with you. It was also on my list because I do love the Simon Pegg, Edgar Wright movies, and he's in it. So, you know what? Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Also, shout out. I just watched the Treehouse of Horrors where he's like the smart house. So, shout out to that.
That does count. I like that role. That's one of the last, this is an overstatement, but that's a solid 1 through 3 every episode, Halloween episode.
So I've been going through the old ones and I'm hitting all the good ones. I'm doing a little too soon, but I'll go back. Up next, we have Daniel Craig.
I'll let you go first because I started with Pierce Brosnan. I assume we'll have the same number 1.
I'm not going to lie. Actually, I think I started with Mamma Mia. You can go if you want. I actually like a lot of Daniel Craig movies, so...
I do too, but Knives Out has become...
Yeah, I would say Knives Out is probably the number 1. I don't 100% agree with that. And I'd even give Glass Onion. It wasn't as good, but it was still good.
No, it was still entertaining, but Knives Out
didn't have the ambiance. It had the whole setting and the feel. And when you take it out of the murder mystery house, it's not quite the same.
I agree.
Next up, I'm going to go Munich. We have a couple like retaliation things to go from.
That's an Uprising one. That's a good one.
That's the Uprising one. But I'm going Munich, the retaliation from the Olympic attack.
Oh, Munich's, sorry, you're right. Defiance is the other one.
I do not believe he is, but Daniel Craig plays a Jew quite a bit. I don't
think it's Jewish at all.
I do not think so. But in this one, I'm picking the Munich Jewish movie, the one that was a little more serious and dark.
Oh, yeah, it was depressing. It was, but good.
But good.
I guess. It was good. Really good movie. I'm going to go his role. I don't love his accent in it, but he is in it, and I love this movie. So I am going Road to Perdition.
That's on my list. Yeah, I would have done that too.
It's just got to be.
It's honestly maybe one of the earliest I remember like recognizing him. I'm sure I saw him in stuff before. That was the first time he registered to me.
So that's the first movie I saw him in. There's another movie that I don't think either of us will have on our list called Layer Cake, where he kind of plays like a hitman, and I think that's a lot of the reasons that he was considered
for Bond.
Like, oh, he could maybe do Bond or whatever. If you remember, though, he was... People, when he was cast or announced to be Bond, people were like, this is not going to work.
They didn't want a blonde
because
Bond.
They did not. And he's my favorite Bond.
Yeah, he's great.
Just because it's more familiar.
The last one I'm going to go with was a little more recent, Logan Lucky. It's like a bank heisty movie. He's funny in it, too. I mean, he's also kind of a funny actor.
Yeah, I think he's
versatile.
I think, though, to play like a leading man Bond, like you get the cheekiness, like you have to be a little cheeky to play his character, so like you are funny.
Yeah.
I guess. I can't remember who directed it, but I listened to him in a podcast once, and why a lot of people haven't heard about it. He's like, listen, you can make a movie, for an example, like that for $10 million. But then most times to get anybody to watch it, you have to spend like $30 million in marketing. He's like, I'm just going to make this movie and not market it and see if people watch it. And it turns out they didn't.
Got to market it.
Just in here. But I agree. It's entertaining and enjoyable. I will go lastly out on this one. I like Girl with a Dragon Tattoo quite a bit. Yeah. It's a good thriller, and I think he's really good in it.
Yeah, I won't hate on that at all. We're moving it on to Sean Connery. Jordan, you can go on this one.
Okay, so I will take my favorite. I mean, It's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade for me.
Yeah, that's the best one for me as well.
It's the best. I think, yeah, out of Sean Connery's movies. But what'll be interesting is the weird ones that I'm going to say that people aren't going to agree with.
You mean like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, Jordan?
Hey, that's definitely on my list. I'll be honest.
I'm not going to lie. I do not like that movie that much, but I just know that you love it.
For whatever reason, it just caught me in middle school, and I know it's bad. I knew it was bad then, but I watched it a lot because it was on HBO. I'll give you another one that is going to be on nobody's list that I watched a lot. Came out in 2000. It's called Finding Forrester.
Oh, I've seen that quite a bit, actually. Well, not a bit, but I've seen it.
It was on TV a bunch. It stars Rob Brown as Jamal, Sean Connery as William Forrester. He's like this fictitious, like, great American writer, not American because he's Scottish or whatever, but it's kind of like a coming of age mentorship story. And it's not even that entertaining, but I watched it a bunch. It was on all the time. But I will get to some ones that I think are, here's probably my actual next two favorite from Sean Connery. I got to go with Untouchables.
Yeah, go back and see our Untouchables. The longest death scene in movie history. Don't know that for a fact, but sure feels like it.
Yeah. He crawls a Stanley Kubrick amount of hallway to get to his phone.
And that survives, I think, until they get there to talk to him too.
Yeah, he's like, I'm
real shot.
It's kind of like Will Ferrell in
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, like, I'm very badly burned.
The last one I have, I'm just going to throw out to Entrapment. He dips between the lasers with Catherine Zeta-Jones. I've actually never seen the whole movie. I've just seen a lot of the pop culture scenes from it.
So I agree. I think I saw it when I was younger. Notable movies that I haven't seen all that much. My friends loved Hunt for Red October. People watch that a bunch.
That's a good one.
I actually did watch First Night, where he plays King Arthur, and
I remember watching him
and Richard Gere plays Lancelot. Might have watched
never mind, because it was on yesterday. I literally was just watching it the other day.
And the Highlander people.
Oh, people like do love them.
But I've not seen the Highlander. But yeah, oddly enough, if you were to rank who got more of a career out of anybody, who got more options, right? Because Pierce Brosnan's gotten, I feel like, out of all of them, the most typecast as Bond for whatever reason, or his version of Bond. Whereas Daniel Craig seems like he's made it past it.
I mean,
and
Sean Connery had a great career before and after.
No, I'm saying I think Sean Connery's number one, like, just for the landscape of the way movies were. He had a whole career outside of Bond.
Oh, and then the last one, shout out to Dragonheart, that thing where they had the kid and the dragon share the heart. Can't kill one without the other.
Yeah. And we didn't go over the other Bonds, one, because we don't know a lot of Timothy Dalton movies, but secondly, it's obviously Hot Fuzz.
Yeah, we're obviously going to say Timothy Dalton for our favorite, probably be his character.
And we don't know any George Lansbury movies or whatever his name is. Lazenby. Yeah. And to be honest, he might be number one out of all the movies for me. Out of any Bond, any Bond, a movie where they didn't play Bond, I think Hot Fuzz has got to be in my top 3.
We love the Cornetto trilogy. What can I say?
We really do. Don't go back and listen to it. I don't know if we did it justice.
We'll redo them someday. We'll do them right. Well, that was our take on Dante's Peak. I hope you like what you heard. If you want more content, make sure you check out the entire Majestic Jam Network. If you want to hear a movie that you love, make sure you write us in at cultclassicspodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on social media, Cult Classics Pod. We'd love to get a bigger list going after the Halloween season. Maybe start sending us some Christmas options. Get us ready for the Christmas season.
Oh, yeah. And just listen to our Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Now, I don't know how much this podcast is growing, but if you want to leave a kind word, it'll sure make me feel good about myself.
Please do. Well, with that, we'll check you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.